What's up? If you haven't heard of Sea of Stars or just haven't played it but are looking for some insights into the game, then you're in the right place. The last time I played a turn-based linear RPG like this was probably Final Fantasy IX on the PlayStation 1. My main complaints at the time being that Firaga, clearly the ultimate fire spell, didn't insta-kill everything on the screen and that my bedtime was still 8 PM. So you could say it's been a while. There have been several iterations on this style and genre of game, but I decided that Sea of Stars was a good entry to hop into since it wasn't one of 16 other entries in a series. Seriously, like at some point we have to admit that that is a barrier to entry, right? Anywho, here are my impressions on it as someone who is relatively unfamiliar with what is typically seen. If you want to stick to the spoiler-free sections of the video, then you'll want to stop here and skip to the conclusion here. Sea of Stars has a really strong start. It introduces you to the concept of Solstice Warriors, as well as a lot of other major characters. Its inventory management is simple and easy to understand as you gain more items throughout the game, and the initial tutorial is very full and comprehensive. While I usually find long tutorials to be annoying, this one keeps it fun and never feels like it's slowing you down. Come on. Okay. Oh, my health is back. Alright, I guess that's good to know. He's not vulnerable. Yikes. Alright, power 100%, but 2. Ooh! Solar magic projectile that splashes to nearby targets. Well, not a great choice there, as there are no nearby targets. Hold A for power. Okay, never mind. Good choice. Found anything? Yeah, I found this sheep, but don't worry, I vaporized it. It takes you through all the basics and keeps holding your hand through your first boss encounter. There's this particularly cool quick-time mechanic in combat, where if you press a button right as an attack hits you, then you take reduced damage. And you deal increased damage if you also time it for when your attacks land. This was the first time I had seen this, and this kind of incentive really helped me stay engaged throughout each encounter, and made me pay attention when new enemies with differently timed attacks showed up. This kind of thing ensures that the core gameplay loop does not get stale by the time you hit 20 plus hours into the game. I completed the main story at roughly 29 hours, and at a retail price of $35, that's about 0.83 hours of entertainment per dollar, which isn't too bad, honestly. I did a couple extra things along the way, but by far not everything the game had available to me. Thunder! Nice. There's also a lot of funny dialogue from a lot of the NPCs you meet that I'll mention later. But lastly, I just want to say that the music for this game is amazing. There are several themes throughout the game for different areas, different combat encounters that just sat in my head all day long. Here are some of my favorites. You won't stay dead for long. Okay, I'm digging it. I'm digging the theme. I guess it's the same. I just didn't notice the guitar on the intro last boss fights. Okay, only one, huh? Oh wait, no. Is it gonna help? I love how he gets physical right there. Yeah, two, okay. Oh, I love the accordion. The pirate boss music. This is what I'm talking about. And I can't go without mentioning the best character in the game, who happens to also have the best theme in the game, Garl! More on him later, but just know that he carries this team both charismatically and musically the whole time. Recognized it immediately. That's what I'm talking about! It is! I would say that the lack of difficulty and complexity present is a strength for younger or newer players, but with the exception of a few learned attack combos, the game overall is not very challenging. I only had to restart or load a save file a couple of times throughout my playthrough, and that was partly due to poor button mapping on my Xbox controller. I obviously am perfect and don't make mistakes. Dude, I'm getting friggin' swarmed. Not every game has to present as much of a challenge as a Souls title, but I never felt the need to really plan out or think about what my next move was going to be. Additionally, it's hard to say anything about the story in the spoiler-free section, but I will say this. I usually play games for their story and world building, and Sea of Stars has a very fun story to play through, but I was often left feeling confused or just kind of out of my depth, as if I had just picked up a game that was in the middle of a trilogy rather than a standalone title. And maybe there was a reason for it being narratively designed the way it is, but I just have the perspective of a newcomer to the genre. Lastly, I just felt like there were some pacing issues. And this may also be a consequence of me not feeling at home in the story, but I just never knew when it was going to end. I thought on like 4 different occasions that I was about to play the end of the game, but I just kept being wrong. Most of the boss encounters were well made, except for one in particular, but I just couldn't tell who was supposed to be the final boss after a while. And that one in particular is actually who's been on the screen this whole time. I'm not gonna say who or what this is, but I could not be silent about this fight. I just couldn't. Narratively, this is a big fight to fight, but this guy is the perfect example of confusing difficulty with total HP. I never felt like anyone in the party was in danger of going down, and I was hitting him with everything I could, but in the end I just sat there staring at him for 25 minutes. It took so long and had such little variation in style that by the end I was just happy to get through it. Belly drop. This guy's not like 20 to the whole party. He doesn't feel like a boss. Alright, I'll keep chipping away at you.
A few moments later.
There we go. Everyone's got their MP maxed out again.
A few moments later.
Because I've been chipping away this guy for a while. Now I'm starting to be paranoid. Because he's only got like 3 attacks. None of them do very high damage.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Final freaking lead, man. Welcome to the part of the video where I assume that you've played through the game at least once. For those of you who have not, final warning! In my opinion, this game really shines in the subtle distractions away from the main story. I loved how all the pirate names were puns of some kind, like Captain Cliché, but I was also super impressed at how the many weird and random middle names that Yolande had throughout the game actually were her middle names. Her listing them out when they all called roll in the Sky Council really made my day.
Pirate First Mate Yolande Ernest, well-meaning, demolition, busy, lookout, practically anytime service, Fort Wall. All of those really were her middle name. I love how they came back with it.
That kind of humor and continuity is seen many places, and along with some distractions like the fishing holes and the Wheels Champions, it makes for a really well-rounded experience. A wise man once said, "Every good game has a fishing minigame."
A fishing minigame. AdaCast. Wow, look, we're out there. Steer. I'm guessing kind of keep it in the center of the current. I got a fish. A lunar trout. A couple games have made all this. Ah, Wheels. Heck yeah. Champion game. Gotta play it.
And I also never had a bad time or got frustrated while playing Wheels in the tavern. Okay, so most of the Wheels games were fun and taught you a new strategy using the different tokens you earned. But this guy is the manifestation of RNGesus, okay? I played him so many times in his little underwater utopia that I would have flipped the Wheels table on him. He just couldn't lose. Every time I got close, his assassin would just whoop, delay my turn, or whoop, he actually moves first and undoes all my stuff, and he somehow comes out okay. Oh, it's fine. Ah! I played this guy in Wheels for longer than I fought the Dweller of Torment. All right, there's just nothing I could do.
Oh, baloney. You'd better chill out over there. It's not fair that they move first. Dude, that assassin's killing me every time. One more diamond. Thank you, gosh. Baloney. Dude, I'm getting friggin' swarmed. But I gotta try again, man. Yes. Alright, this is the game.
You sure about that?
Quit it.
You sure about that?
Yikes, dude. No, he's got one. Oh, I am so salty. I am so salty. Yeah, that'll do it. It's so junk that he can just undo. Okay, throw it. Throw it. Finish him! Yes! Yes! Good night. I hate you. I hate you. How do I get more players? How do I get more pieces? Whew. That took way too long. That took way too long.
Keeping in the theme with attention to detail, I like how it's offhandedly mentioned that Brugaves,
oh please let that be how it's pronounced, I'm really bad at knowing how to spell things,
was never really good at magic power, which could just be flavor text for him, honestly, and would be in a lot of other games. But when you see him in combat, that weakness is displayed in his lack of lunar attacks. It's not explicitly brought up to you again, but I noticed, and when we fought him, I was able to strategize knowing that he was mostly dealing physical damage. This kind of lore in action is really cool to see. Ultimate moves were cool too. Not going to show them all, not going to talk about them all, but they were neat, and I made this reference way too much to not include.
Zale's ultimate attack. Solan's Light. Salvation!
The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
It's just Sunball, but bigger. Oh, I loved every bit of that. Let's go for it.
I think my biggest critique would be the pacing of the game in both plot and character development. There was a pretty good and steady build-up to the Dweller of Woe, and I would say they heavily implied that there was going to be a plot twist at this point, so you knew it wasn't going to be the end. But the sensation of nearing the final area really started to lose its potency after experiencing the Dweller of Torment, the Dweller of Strife, the Skybase Computer, and every obstacle in the final castle. Additionally, character development went from 0 to 100 instantly as soon as Garl got hit with the Fleshmancer blast. There were several oracles with little prophecies and things that were cool to try and connect the dots with when they happened, and so it made sense for Garl to ask for the Flask of Borrowed Time when he did. He had a vision about what to do, and later says he doesn't really know specifics, but that he knows where to go and that they have everything that they need. But then you get to the Sky Council, and this happens.
I hope you have a plan. What does he have? What does he have? I will wake the sleeper. You would bring total destruction to this world. I'll make it friendly again. The Elder Mist once told me I might soothe the long tormented soul. This is what he meant. I'm certain of it. The runes in the Moorlands. I wasn't sure at first, but now I know what they meant. There are no more ovates. I will complete the ritual of the elements by cooking with them. See, this is just video to entertain your plan. How will you use the water? How will you use water? Magic Dew to instantly grow the crops I need. Sea monsters are extinct. Magic Dew will not manifest without an enchanted scale. Oh, we have a scale. Oh, never mind. Natural heat from a volcano without a name. Preposterous. The lava monster would kill you instantly. My friends are pretty strong. Wind to come into play. The ritual of the elements to get some sort of a gem. How long is this game? We will capture Zephyr in a bottle. When my creation is complete, I will let it carry the scent to the sleeper's nostrils. If you can soothe the sleeper, we will grant your friends access to the Sea of Stars. The volcano is now open. You will also need this. Never seen the council so easily swayed.
Now, after that exchange, you might be asking yourself a few questions, like, why does waking the sleeper mean the world's destruction? What are the runes in the Moorlands? Who or what are the Ovates that there are apparently no more of? What is the ritual of the elements, and why does Roshan, the immortal alchemist, think it's impossible? What is Magic Dew, and how does Garl know about it? Why won't Magic Dew manifest without an enchanted scale from a sea monster, and why does Garl know about it? Why would waking the sleeper, even if he is now not evil, be a thing to exchange for passage? It's no wonder the council was so easily swayed. They just had a visit from an all-knowing source of information manifested as a guy named Garl. I didn't really understand any of it, and so doing all these tasks just made for a blur of confrontations and objectives that didn't mean anything to me.
See, this is... I guess I gotta look it up later. There's so much going on here that I just don't know what they're talking about. Like, they're talking about it like it's such... Like, everybody knows how to do this freaking thing. And why does Garl know? Why does Garl... He had a vision, then it was so hazy of like, what do I do? I don't know. I think it's this island over here. And then he's talking to these people, and he's like, I will complete the thing. I will do this cooking ritual to get the gems, to wake the sleeper, and make it friendly once more. Obviously, I will use magic too to grow the crops I need, and in order to gain them from the volcano without a name. Like, he just listing it off.
There were a few other small annoyances that made me waste time during the game, like fast travel not being unlocked until the very end, so I was trying to go a lot of places before actually being able to. But my last main issue is with Bergaves and the story overall. When the Fleshmancer comes into play and allows the older warriors to leave with him, Bergaves digs a little into his story again, which I said before was really cool that they made matter. His motivations and backstory comes into play. He tries one last time to get the younger warriors to come with him, and you can see that he doesn't like the path that he chose. He mentions that he was always told he's been inadequate and just wants to forget everything so that he doesn't bear the guilt of this self-preservation choice he's making. The Fleshmancer says that he will soon be given a new form, a new name, and will be the fastest there has ever been. And that's the last we see of him. Hope he's doing okay, you know? We see the end of Erlina's story, but Bergaves was the one I was actually emotionally invested in, and the lack of resolution left me a bit hollow. And the story overall mirrors that same feeling. Good guys win, guardian gods, yeah. But all the talk with the alchemist and the Fleshmancer tells you that this is just one universe where all the same events are playing out across other multiverses. So a victory or defeat here really doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. Maybe by studying how things turned out well in this reality, Rashawn can one day combine all the timelines back together and end it for good.
Yes, there it is.
But that seems like a stretch. It seems out of scope. And in the end, it made me feel like I hadn't really done anything. But what do I know, right? This seems like a game that has more cool things that happen if you do multiple playthroughs, and still has a few secrets left for me to find. So take all that with a grain of salt, yeah? In the end, this game offers a lot of fun and humor for those paying attention at a reasonable cost. There are a few things that didn't leave me wanting more when it ended, but I really enjoyed the experience, and I hope you enjoyed hearing about it. If you're looking for other opinions, all of these places have actual reviews on the game, and while I may come up with my own way to rank games soon enough, for now I think I'll stick to a tier list. Sea of Stars gets a solid B ranking from me on the first playthrough. It has potential to move up to A depending on how alternate endings come around and the DLC that is set to come out soon, but on just the once over, I'll leave it right here. Feel free to tell me what you think in the comments. I do love talking about the games I play, after all. I would love to know more cool things about the game, and also to share my misery with you about Wheels, that one boss in particular, and hear how you think the game stacks up against the rest. This has been Gaming Impression Steve, and I'll catch you next time.